Did Kyrie's comments have you worried about Boston?
No, actually. Kyrie's comments is exactly what they need, and he's a championship player, and he can recognize they can't just show up and win. Look, I like Toronto by a hair over Boston this season. I mean by a hair. But Boston is the team which, on paper, if they're firing on all cylinders, makes you think they have the best chance to beat the Warriors. Mm-hmm. They have an absurd starting five. It's an absurd starting five. Everyone talks about the Boston bench, given it's an excellent bench. That starting five is absurd. Who's the weak link? Jaylen Brown is he the worst player? I mean, Gordon Hayward right now. But if they're all firing at full strength, Jaylen Brown's the number 3 pick in the draft. A wing who doesn't need the ball but knows what to do with it when he gets it, who can play on both sides of the floor. That's your weak link in the starting five. Jason Tatum, franchise player. Kyrie Irving, franchise player. Gordon Hayward, a max contract level two-way wing. Not to mention Al Horford. Horford, the prototypical big. But none of them are playing well right now. And the reason they're not playing well right now is because they have to integrate in this case, two enormous pieces to the team. The primary ball handler, a ball-dominant, dribbles a lot point guard and score-first point guard in Kyrie, and the two-way wing, Gordon Hayward. One of the main reasons Brown and Tatum got the minutes they did and developed to the extent they did was that Hayward wasn't there. One of the reasons that team shared the ball so well last year is they didn't have a dribble-a-lot, score-first point guard. So they have to, the beginning of this season will be about them figuring out how to play together. Ultimately, I'm not worried about the Celtics, and partly, Stephen A., it's because of a comment like that from Kyrie Irving, a championship veteran, experienced all-star who understands what he's looking at and is not going to delude himself. He knows there's work to do. They'll get it done.
That's where I'm at with this. See, I love the fact that Kyrie Irving said this because Kyrie Irving's holding cats accountable. And let's keep in mind that Kyrie Irving is averaging 21. He's shooting 46% from the field. He's shooting 40% from three-point range. He's doing his job. So let's put this where let's do as my man Joe Madison on SiriusXM says every morning. Let's put it where the goats can get it, okay? Let's get right to it. The problem is Gordon Hayward. Working him back into the mix. It ain't working Kyrie back into anything. That's not the problem here. Kyrie, as much as I love Terry Rozier, who should be starting for several teams in the NBA, he's that good. And Marcus Smart, who I'm happy got his money. We understand Kyrie is on another level. And Kyrie's going to do what Kyrie's doing. Kyrie, in terms of his mental approach to things, is the closest thing to Kobe Bryant. He just mirrors the person he idolizes, which is Kobe Bryant. You could see it, the way he talks, just like we used to look at Kobe. He used to talk about he walks and talks and acts like MJ to such a degree. That's what you see in Kyrie Irving when it comes to Kobe. We understand it, and we understand that he's validated it because he's a champion. And it wasn't watching and spectating while LeBron James delivered the goods. It was helping LeBron James capture. Kyrie averaged 29 and 27 in those finals that he participated in with LeBron James. Make no mistake about it, he's that big time. So now that we understand that, what's the difference? The difference is that you've got a guy in Gordon Hayward that's under a minute's restrictions of 25 minutes per game. Why is this man starting? I have no problem with Gordon Hayward. I like Gordon Hayward a lot. And I think as he gets healthier and healthier, he'll be even better. But he's not there yet. So when I look at a Jaylen Brown or I look at a Jason Tatum, I expected more from them this year, but it's hard to get it from them when you're trying to re-ingratiate Gordon Hayward into the proceedings, who got hurt 5 minutes into his career as a Boston Celtic. So it's not like he played with them all season and then got hurt. He got hurt 5 minutes into his career as a Boston Celtic, which means that you're just learning to play with him. Not just that he got hurt, but it's also you never really played with him before he got hurt. And so as a result of that, that's a double whammy against the Boston Celtics. I think it's compromised Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to a lesser degree. And Brad Stevens has to figure this out. I believe he will because I believe in him. But I think that's what they're working with here.
While you're on this topic, and I'm going to get to the real reason the Celtics should be worried, it's not because of anything internally with them, but while we're on the topic, Tatum's playing much more iso ball nowadays. He went and worked out with Kobe Bryant. Speaking of Kobe Bryant, I don't know if that was the best thing for him on this team. He's playing more iso ball, not as good as last year. Horford off to a very bad start. I mean, I like Horford a lot, but off to a bad start. And part of that may be because they have to reintegrate Gordon Hayward, who's ineffective.
Everything comes down to Hayward.
And by the way, also Kyrie is going to hold the ball longer. It's going to stick with him more than it did last year, so there's less ball movement.
I'm not putting that on Kyrie.
I think some of it is. I believe all that stuff will work itself out, but that doesn't change the fact that the Celtics still have to contend with the Toronto Raptors, with the best record in the Eastern Conference last season, and have replaced DeMar DeRozan with Kawhi
Guess
Leonard.
what, Max Kellerman? We get to see that litmus test on ESPN Friday because the Raptors come to town to Boston.
Molly?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
keep in mind the Boston Celtics this year, yes, they lost the second game of the season to Toronto. They also lost to Orlando, who I watched here in D.C. last night. Not that impressive. They should have lost to them. They lost to the Pacers, the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Trailblazers. So it's clearly a problem with the Celtics.
Yeah.
It ain't
Now-
That's why he's
Toronto.
Now,
saying
but what
they're
I'm
not that
saying
good.
is they're going to get this all figured out by
All right, guys,
playoff time, and
guys.
that's still got to face Toronto, which may be the problem.